So not to bring up bad memories, but I want to make the comparison here between last year's game and what you expect to see this weekend. Washington led 35-10 at the half. They cruised to a 45-17 win. Washington, of course, had Jake Browning, who only had to put it up 29 times, but was very efficient through 3 touchdown passes to John Ross and Dante Pettis. Actually, Myles Gaskin wasn't the force on the ground. It was Levon Coleman who had a big day on the ground with 82 yards rushing. And Luke Falk, of course, had to put it up 50 times playing from behind and threw a couple picks. Not much in the run game for Washington State against that Washington defense, which was much different, as we have just discussed, in 2016 compared to what we see despite the number 4 national ranking this year. So what is going to make the outcome different this time around, especially going to Seattle?
I think this year, I think Luke Falk, UW's the only team he hasn't beaten in his prolific career, which is amazing to me that UW's the only team he hasn't beaten. I think he will just come in with that grind, that mindset of, he's not going to be like, oh, I just want to, he's got all the Pac-12 records out of the way and everything like that. So I think as a team, WSU knows that this is a special thing that they've got going on this year. They know they've got a lot of seniors and everything that are going to be leaving the program afterwards, or after the season, I should say. But I think WSU is going to come in. Their offense and defense are, I think, I wouldn't say drastically, but they're noticeably better than they were last year. UW's defense, I would say, has taken, even though, like you said, the number 4 national ranking as far as points, a game that they give up, I still think they've taken a little bit of a tumble. And I think WSU's offense is better than UW's defense. And I also think WSU's defense and UW's offense are very comparable. If not, I would give that slight edge to WSU as well. Whereas last year, you had that UW secondary that was just going off against quarterbacks, picking balls left and right. And you had the John Ross. You have Myles Gaskin back this year, but it'd be interesting to see if he does anything against this WSU defense, because WSU held Bryce Love, who's the best running back in the conference, to under 100 yards, where everybody else that Stanford has played has held them to like 150 or at least over 100 yards. And you look at Bryce Love's per game stats every week, and WSU is the one where you circle and you're like, hey, they held him to under 100 yards. And I think that's what we're going to do with Myles Gaskin, because Bryce Love is just a better back than Myles Gaskin. And I just think that WSU's speed defense and the speed that they have, they might not be as big as UW's defensive line or anything like that, but the speed that they have has thrown teams off this year. And I think we will continue to do so in the Apple Cup.